Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Massive Darkness expansion pack unboxing. These are for two of the enemy boxes for Ratlings and Troglodytes. So if you're looking to refresh your game up, you're getting tired of playing against them, dwarves and goblins and orcs. These are two boxes you can pick to get some more mob characters. And just a refresher, if you haven't watched maybe the base game in a while, the mob characters are made up of a leader card, and several minions. So the leader is a little bit unique sculpt, but it shares stats with the minions. You have to defeat the minions before you can fight the leader. And then there's also agents, which are another unique version of that race. You're basically get 3 sculpts of each type of at least 3 of each type of race. They're going to get probably more, usually 2 of each race. And then sometimes there are roaming monsters, which are the bigger monsters, which are generally different from the other races. They don't exist, so you like only one of that type. So we're going to get some rat monsters, because what dungeon game doesn't have you fight rats? But at least these rats have swords and armors to attack you back, so we'll look at that one. And then we're also going to look at the Troglodytes, which are kind of like humans that went bad, essentially. So we're going to look at those. So let's look at the Troglodytes first. And then we'll see what we got in here. So yeah, we're going to get some roaming monsters, some guard cards for all 5 levels to add some new stuff in. So our first one up is we're going to have... zoom in on these. We're going to have some Troglodyte brutes. So those are going to be... There is the minion. And the leader is... right there. Yeah, so here's the leader. He's got a big giant fiery staff. He's wearing like a wolf pelt, which is really cool. Good detail there. Maybe not a huge fan of stuff sticking off the edges. I guess the weapons stick off, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's kind of odd. But yeah, he's so I can get this to focus a little bit better. There we go. You see, I still like that studded armor around his waist. These fantasy characters love their studded armor. So these guys will lead the other brutes into play, who are going to be running around, also wearing wolf pelts, but not covering themselves. But they're going to have some armor all over, a big giant battle axe, wolf pelt all the way down his shield. Of course, they always have damaged up weapons, because they just got whatever they've been using for a while. Even the inside of the shield there has some lines of wood. That's pretty cool. And it looks like the guy has a scar in his face? No, I guess not. It just kind of looked like that. Yeah, so their stats are going to be fairly simple to begin with. 2 health, you summon 1 minion, so you just summon the 2 to begin with. But they have one yellow, 1 blue guy for attacking and defense. But they use shadow mode, so they have defense, blank results get +1 defense. So unlike lots of the other monsters and other characters, they don't get bonuses in the shadows like the heroes do. These guys, however, they're also human or humanoid enough that they can gain some bonuses from being in the shadows. So that definitely makes them a little bit harder to fight, because you can't just jump in the shadows to hide and get an extra bonus from them. So that is those guys. And you are going to get 1 of the leader, of course, and you're going to get 6 of the minions. So they're like a little bit more powerful version. And then the other ones we're going to get are the Troglodyte warriors. So there is our leader for the Troglodyte warriors. And you're going to get 12 of these minions. So these guys are the sword wielders. So they have 1 health, a little bit less health. you know, a little less defense than the other guys. They also have a shadow mode, but it says defense +1 green die. So they just get an actual just extra die, which could be anything. The other guys can turn all their zeros into hits. So here's the leader. There's extra studded armor. He's also got his wolf pelt on. But it has a helmet that looks like a wolf, which is really cool. Plus dual swords. And his don't look as beat up as everybody else's. He's probably like, I'm in charge. He's got some dings on the back side, but and then his of course does have some dings on it, but that's yeah, I love the big broadsword. It might not be a broadsword, it could be a long sword. I'm not sure what it's classified. But he's got his studs on there too. He's got his little tiny wolf pelt on his shoulder. His spurs, big old beard and mustache. But he's dual wielding that, which is really fun. So those are two different groups of minis we're going to get. It's just something a little bit different to fight against. So we have our level 2 versions, which is going to gain some more stats. Plus 2 shields for blanks. This one also gains them +1 attack in the shadows. They're level 3 versions. So it drops back down some of their defense, but they're going to gain more attack and defense. And these guys are going to gain some extra dice as well. So then the other character we're going to get in here are the agents, which are, though, not the agents, the agent. We have a level 4 agent who's his own, like, trooper. But the agents are always a pain because they summon more guards every turn. So if you don't deal with them on their own, they're going to get more powerful. Plus, they have health per every player. So they're kind of like the midway between the mob leaders and minions and a roaming monster. They're not quite as powerful as roaming monsters. Plus, they share the traits with these other guys. But yeah, here's him. He's standing there. These guys also tend to always have these ruins on them, which is really neat. But he's got his double swords getting ready to fight with. But he's all calm and collected, like he's just waiting for you to step up and he's gonna whip out his blades. So definitely cool. So yeah, his stuff is, again, he gets shadow mode stuff. 2 attack or 2 defense. Just straight up. Like the other guys had to roll dice. Which with after roll dice, you could maybe get something really good. You could probably get zeros as well. He's just going to get immediate bonuses. And then the rest of the cards, we're going to get some level 4 versions of the Brutes and Warriors. And then level 5 of Brutes and Warriors. So that is our Troglodytes. The one other thing we are going to get in this set as well is a roaming monster. We're going to get the Bloodseeker Minotaur. So this will help replace one of your other, either just add it into your group and you could be a random draw for one of your roaming monsters, or you could take one out and exchange them so you keep at 6. That's really up to you. Like, there's one that you don't like because maybe you think he's too weak, or there's one that's too powerful. You can always swap like one of these other guys in. But yeah, he has 5 health per player. It says, whenever the Minotaur is attacked, if it moved 2 zones towards the attacker, as if it moves 2 zones towards the attacker, as if it had slippery, which means it can just get in and out of zones without having to worry if there's enemies around. If it enters the attack zone, the attacker takes 1 wound. So it's kind of like showing like a Minotaur charging. So yeah, if he's hit, so basically if he's hit at a range, he's going to try and move right towards you and hit you right away. So it's kind of fun. And then he has 2 red dice for attack, 2 green dice for defense. His greater form, he gains 3 red dice and 1 yellow and 3 defense. And then the attacker takes 2 wounds instead of 1. And then here is his incredible detailed miniature here. Got the braids hanging down. The piercings all over his horn. They're really cool. The armor. Like, even just like the belt, the hair, just the detail on these is always incredible to me. These guys, big, giant axe, which is bigger than most of the characters in the game. And then, like, yeah, him compared to one of the Troglodytes, just for a size comparison. Because these guys are probably like the same size as the heroes. So he's about twice as big. He's not the biggest miniature out there, but he's definitely hefty. So that is our Troglodyte set. So if you're looking for something a little bit different to play as, the whole shadow mode thing adds an entirely unique element to the game. So now we're going to look at the second box, which is the Ratlings. So the Ratlings, we're going to start off with our Ratling Crossbowmen. And we're going to have a leader. And there's going to be 6 minions for this one, and the leader here. So these guys are going to have 1 for range, so they can hit you if you're up neat. Otherwise, they're going to just try and shoot you for 2. Well, this mob has over half its starting figures. It gains +1 attack. So as long as you still have a bunch of them out there, it's going to gain more attacks. So if these guys group up, they can gain extra damage. So here's going to be his. He's kind of like that ribbed armor, which is really neat. Of course, I always have studs. He's got a sword there just in case. Otherwise, he has like this broom staff, which is neat, kind of like leaning on it. Plus, he's wearing a skull. So he's already a rat, and he looks like he's wearing an additional like rat skull over his face. Which is extra creepy. And then we have our Crossbowman. Which he just has like a leather mask over his. Holding his bow and his arrows, like he's not even worried. Doesn't even need to have it like ready to go. But yeah, this will work well. There's like this could these guys could replace the archers from the base game. And that's something you could also do with any of these sets, is you don't have to swap out like all the dwarves for all the rats, or all the orcs for the troglodytes. You could swap out, because there's 2 groups for each, you could swap out 1 for each. So if you bought there's 3 races in the base game, and here you have 2 more. You could swap out half of each. You could play 1 orc, one orc, 1 goblin, 1 dwarf, 1 set of rats, 1 set of troglodytes. You get the other expansions that have some more. You could play 1 of them, 1 of the other ones, and have like 6 different. You could have 3 different mobs. You could have like 6 different mobs out with half of each group, or you could have all of them and just have random ones coming in and out. It's more different threats you wouldn't know about, because you don't know what you're going to do. If you're only going against the base game, you're only going against 6 different types of guys. So you kind of have an idea of what you need to deal with. Now, listen, if you had every single one in, you have whatever 10 different types of mobs to fight. It's definitely going to make the game a little bit more interesting. Then we have some rat warriors. Some Ratling warriors. And we're going to get 12 of these minions. These guys are kind of like the lesser of the 2. They have slippery, so they can move around quick. 1 red guy, 1 blue guy. Seems to be your little melee fighters. But yeah, he's got some studded armor. He's got these big giant maces. This spike helmet. Of course, all the pockets, everything. His tails are always sticking out. Oh, these aren't even just maces. These are flails. That's even crazier. If they're just maces, that'd be one thing, but they're flails, so you just to whip them around. There would have been like a neat thing if the leaders had a different card than the mob characters, because then they could have had like, he could have had like maybe like even magic, or even though it's not technically magical maces, but he could have had the extra range point. But that's all right. So then we have this one. He has some cloth helmet on, tattered up clothes, a spiked shield, a spiked, yeah, it's already a crazy sword with a little hook in it, but he's also got some spikes on the end of it as well, like he really needed to do more damage. But there are rat warriors. So then we have level 2 versions, which are just going to gain extra effects and abilities, up their stats. Level 3s. There's some level 4s. And then our level 5, we are going to get our agent. So this is going to be the unique one that's kind of by himself. So there's just one of him. But he has a lot more health. He has 5 per player. He's, you know, that mix between. And he's also going to spawn more guys every turn. Luckily, he doesn't have any other abilities. But he's got 4 attack dice and 3 defense dice. So he's going to be hard to take out. Dual wielding there. Yeah, again, all the same stuff. They got the ruins on them. They have the studded armor. He's got a big old tail sticking out. I kind of wish there would have been at least one of these rat characters that was using their tail, like holding one of their weapons. Like even like one of the archers or someone like holding a bow, like an arrow or something. That would have been really neat. So then we have 2 more level 5s. You have one for the crossbowmen, one for the warriors. And then our final character, our final miniature, is going to be the Rattling Bully, which is our roaming monster. So this is one of the few times the roaming monster is the same as the race. But he's a giant rat. 3 health is not as powerful as some of the characters, but he spawns with 2 rattling minions, if possible, in the same zone. Rattling Bully is treated as the boss of this mob. These rattling minions have 2 health. So that's actually neat. I don't think any other boss or any other character summons just random extra guys to come help. So that's definitely fun. So he becomes his own. That's why he has less health, because he becomes his own boss, basically. 2 attack, 3 of the defense, and he's got 4 and 4. But he also spawns 4, which means you have to take out all of them other minions first before you can fight him. So he's already beefy enough, and now you have to deal with all the other little tiny rats first, which kind of makes sense for rats. And he's got these hook blades, which are really fun, and a sword. Some straps hanging down. Spiked shoulder armor, his spine's exposed back there. Definitely cool little character. Alright, so that is what we had for that set. Yeah, so if you're looking to just change up some of the stuff in your base game, there's 2 more expansions you can get. There are other ones that I'll be doing videos for, so feel free to come back and check those out as well, so see what you can get. So we have the Troglodytes with the 22 miniatures and 13 cards, and the Ratling with the same. So if you want to replace some, there are 2 different races and some extra different roaming monsters you can get. See you guys in the next video. Bye.